There are some items still raising questions, like the $246 million tax break for Hollywood for film production, and the provision to spend $248 million on furniture at the new Homeland Security headquarters. Well, one Democrat suggesting changes, Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill, our guest today from Capitol Hill. Senator, good morning to you. It's always good having you on our program, and welcome back here. I've watched you on other programs. I've read your interviews. I've seen all of it. I know you think the ratio needs to be changed between spending and stimulus and tax breaks. Well, I'm going to cover all that. However, I know you think there's more spending in there that should be. So then, let's get out the axe and start chopping. What needs to go to get this thing done?
Well, we've got to cut some of the spending for programs. What has happened is a lot of these programs have been starved over the last 8 years, and people decided this was an opportunity to buck up these programs, and this is not the place to increase spending on programs, with the exception of some of the safety net programs that will get that money right into the economy.
Okay, now I appreciate that. I just want to be...
Yeah, we got to strip away the spending that is on programs.
Give me an example. What don't you like? What needs to go, like, right now?
Well, we need to, for example, there is a $50 billion program for loans in a certain area of alternative energy. Well, we currently have $50 billion waiting to be loaned, and it's on the books right now, so that's probably too high. You mentioned the furniture at the Homeland Security Department. That's a great cut.
We could go to IKEA for that stuff and save a lot of money, can't we? Hey, I've got a few more ideas for you. You ready?
Okay,
$150 million to redo Smithsonian, the facilities there. I think it's a great cause, but I just want to know whether or not it's going to create jobs in this country. $1 billion for the census next year in 2010. $1 billion for a census that is already costing $3 billion more than it was set out to do in the first place.
Well, we may have to fund a census, but not in a stimulus bill. I mean, that's the problem here. We have got to be disciplined about making sure this bill does only two things: gets money directly into the economy and creates jobs. Period.
Okay, I've got two more for you. $100 million for reducing the hazard of lead-based paint. I think that's important, but I don't know if it should be in this, and I think you agree with me on that. $25 million for tribal alcohol and substance abuse reduction, which I think is a very critical factor to Native Americans living on reservations in this country. I just don't know if it should be in this bill either.
I think you're going to be pleased with the effort that is underway right now by a number of us, some Democrats and some Republicans, to pare down this list to a bare bones in terms of spending that we must do for the safety net, and then looking in whether or not we're spending this money in a way that will create jobs not 5 years from now, but create jobs within the next 18 months.
Okay, two more points now. How far away is the Senate version from being there?
You know, I think that it's not a question of how far away we are. It's a question of how many. Well, we're not starting from scratch. We're going to try to strip out. But the real question is, how many people can we get to join this effort? Are the Republicans being against it just because they want to be against it, or are they willing to work with us and do the right thing here? I had a Republican, a staunch Republican that is very involved in the financial markets in this country, say to me in the last couple of days, if some bill doesn't pass, it's going to be Armageddon. And I think we've got to be mindful of that, do the right thing, get this economic recovery bill to the president's desk, but do it in a way that's responsible about spending.
All right, Senator, I know you believe you only need about a dozen Republicans to come on board, and maybe you have one with us next hour. Lindsey Graham is our guest, so we'll put some of your answers to him, and we'll try and find the middle ground. Okay, Senator?
That sounds great. That's what we're looking for.
All right. Claire McCaskill is the Democratic Senator out of the state of Missouri, and we appreciate your time. Don't be a stranger. Come on back. And again, as I mentioned, Senator Lindsey Graham next hour. Also, if you have any question about what's going on in the Senate or about the state of our economy and where it's headed, send an email, BYA, because you asked. We get specific questions every day from our viewers about what's in the bill for them, and what should be out of the bill. Hemmer at foxnews.com, and the lawmakers, again, as we mentioned, will join us a bit later this morning. We will crunch the numbers throughout the day. Cheerio.
Well, late yesterday, we got some big economic news on Macy's department stores. The company announcing major job cuts and other cutbacks to deal with the downturn in the economy. Here's how it breaks down. Macy's plans to slash 7,000 jobs nationwide. The cuts amount to 4% of the company's workforce, 40% of the company's management jobs. As part of the plan, Macy's will also lower 401k contributions and eliminate merit raises for its executives. 11 of its 840 stores will close. Macy's executives say the reductions should amount to about $250 million in savings for the company this year.
Also, here's an offer we're hearing about that some auto workers may not be able to refuse. At least that's what Chrysler and GM are hoping anyway. Faced with plummeting sales, the two car makers must reduce their workforce, so they're offering some hourly workers an incentive to quit. An early retirement package, including a buyout check and a car voucher worth about $25,000. That's new today from Detroit.